Here's the strap. Pull it up. My car's in neutral. You can take and push it away. Once installed, the TDS cover stops people from reaching the neutral release strap. Do yourself a favor, stop over at www.DESTROYER1320.com today. The TDS covers are available for 2015 through 2021 Dodge Challenger, Dodge Charger, and Chrysler 300. Soon coming, Ram 1500 and Ram TRX. So stay tuned for those. That's right. It's Tuesday. You made it. Welcome to Destroyer 1320 Live. Happy New Year to all. This is a very, very, very special broadcast for a multitude of reasons. I'm going to go ahead and start out as I always do, thanking everybody. And this is a special thank you here. A special thank you to the Charity Challenge winner, which the Charity Challenge winner, let me explain, is anybody else who has a YouTube channel that used their YouTube influence to help bring money to a charity. And I took just the names. There's not a matter of who raised more, who did whatever. It was, I put the names on a wheel, we spun it, and it landed on TK's Garage. So congratulations, TK. You're going to get a trophy that looks like that right there with your name and some other stuff on it. You will be getting a trophy for the 2020 Destroyer 1320 Charity Challenge. So huge thank you to everybody who participated. Narcoleptic Customs, Brailsford's Ride, Stuff with Cletus. And then moving into our members who keep this channel moving, who make it where I can afford things like the green screen and some cool stuff to make this a little more entertaining. Wood and Metal Garage, Stuff with Cletus, Project Nitrous, Big Block 402, Shopcat Industries, Sublime GT500, 815 LSX Swaps, Eric E. Vapors Stevenson, ZTRD, Catfish Carl, our dad, Polar Bear Ed's Garage, Mama San, and Narcoleptic Customs. Appreciate you guys so much. And tonight is really, really special because we get to tally up what the Destroyer 1320 family was able to accomplish on behalf of Slicks of Hope. So I happen to have, well, I can't show any of it here, but I have this thing that we're going to be presenting here in a little bit. And if you guys don't know who Slicks of Hope is or who Tommy is our guest tonight. He is going to be on. We're going to get to know a little bit about more about him, a little bit more about the charity. But I created a little video clip here to give you guys an idea of the vehicle that he uses to do Slicks of Hope and kind of some of the events that he does and some clips of him running the bad boy down the strip. So once this is done, we'll bring him up and have a chat. So here you go.
Record of 11.30.
Tommy, how are you doing, brother? Great to have you on, man.
Hey, thanks
so
for having
excited
me on.
for this thing. So just after seeing that, does it kind of get that fire going for you to get out and do some more events?
Just get out and crew chief, yeah.
You know what I mean.
Yeah, no, that was a great video. Actually, most of those, that's all Carly. So the Tesla race and the red eye, that was me. But yeah, everything else like that hellacious little wheelie, that's all her. But yeah, it's we're looking forward to getting out and doing some more events this year, hoping with the COVID thing cools off a little bit and we can, get out. Next thing on our radar is March, Modern Street Hemi in Florida. So
Very cool. Which that's where you're based out of.
right.
Let's see here. Before we get too far in, I just want to say hi to a lot of the people who are supporting us here. Rich GT 350R, Car Mob. Let's see here. Thank you, by the way, Catfish Carl, for dropping a little super chat in the beginning. Oh, TK's here. Congratulations once again. Thank you so much for being part of the charity challenge. Brett Jarvis, how you doing? TK, thank you so much, man. I appreciate it, man. Thank you so much, dude. Let's see. 5.0 Primo. Dan, can you grab that person there? Okay. All right. Let's jump into this. Sorry, Shopcat and 815. Those are my members, so I want to make sure I pull them up. So tell us a little bit about the charity as a whole, what everyone has done such an amazing job supporting during the last month before we present you with a check.
Okay, so first and foremost, the group that we raise funds for is St. Baldrick's. I originally became involved with St. Baldrick's when my youngest daughter, Peyton, was battling cancer. That would have been officially my first year was 2017, just a few months before she passed. And then along with my wife, Carly, I have continued these last few years doing so. And then 2020 was our first annual event as Slicks of Hope. Earlier that year, St. Baldrick's had approached us and asked if we would like to do what they call a hero fund. So we are essentially it's different from their traditional fundraising efforts where they do head shaving events, and they asked us if we'd like to do something out of the norm, to kind of something new and fun. And I'd had the idea in the back of my head of using the car, being that Challengers were something my daughter always pointed out. She's always like, "Hey, Dad, look at that. That's a fast car." And so I jumped at that chance, and it's gone pretty well. I mean, we're just past our second complete year. We did our second annual event this year in September with Holly up at the Holly Mo party. They invited us to come out. They gave us a spot to set up for free, and just really helped us out a great deal. And big thanks to them. Steve Sparkman in particular. He's been the guy there on the ground, like, "Hey, Steve, I need a 12 millimeter socket and I can't find mine." Before trying to make runs the first year we went up in 2020, and just a huge help. So with that, what we do then is we do our automotive events, and that brings funds in directly to St. Baldrick's. And then from there, twice a year, it's cut out for grants for pediatric cancer research. We were one of the few last year with COVID, one of the few hero funds that actually was able to do an event and bring in a decent amount of money. I think we tallied out last year somewhere around 30 grand.
Wow. Very nice. And you were saying, I believe the first time I had you on last year, a lot of the proceeds go to helping, as some people may know, when something like that happens, one of the parents has to take time off work, has to drop everything and go and live in a hotel, basically, depending upon where, your hospital is.
So,
and some of those funds help.
Some of with St. Baldrick's, it's all for research.
Okay.
So some of the other groups that I actually fundraise outside of Slicks of Hope, which we'll get into more at some point, when I don't want to say break away from St. Baldrick's, but as of now, like, I don't have a tax ID. I'm not my own charity. I fundraise for them I do the fun stuff. They do all the numbers. So when we do that, and we're able to pull away, once I get the whole thing set up as a nonprofit on my own, then it will be, hey, this event's for St. Baldrick's. This event is for Ronald McDonald House or Pediatric Brain Tumor Foundation.
Right.
So Ronald McDonald is where a lot of that came in. They give you a free place to stay, free meals. My daughter stayed there a lot. In fact, the Atlanta Ronald McDonald House has a room that bears her name now for life.
Mm.
So another great charity too. I mean, I point people in different directions, whether I'm running a fundraiser for that charity right now or not. It's all a great cause across the board. But Baldrick's, was just, I guess for me, pretty sentimental. I did my first event with my daughter. They do it. It's a fun event. It's kind of, it's like a party. They do them traditionally around St. Patty's Day. So like we dyed my hair was all big and greased up, and we dyed my hair blue, and went in and like right there on the big stage downtown, they shave your head, and you're running around hustling money to get donations before you shave your head, and it was a good time. So I think that's, for me, it was just kind of a sentimental thing to stick with Baldrick's, and like I said, they put the offer out to do our own hero fund. And the big thing with that is a lot of parents in this position that want to do something, they try to jump right in and get that tax ID and set up their own nonprofit, and they fail, sadly. They just don't have the backing or the capital or even the know-how to really jump into it, and it falls apart. So that's why St. Baldrick's was started the hero funds. It kind of gives you a springboard where you still get to do the fun stuff and you get to raise the money, but you don't deal with all the hassle. Granted, then at the same time, whereas everything I do too, like all our travel is out of my own pocket. I don't get a write-off for that. So, we do it out of the, for the mission, out of the good of our own hearts. We do these events and we put money in to make it happen, but we see that return on the back end where, we brought in $30,000 in our first year.
That's just, yeah.
Which is, we're at the bottom rung, man. That's the new kid territory. Some of these guys, and it gets competitive between, groups and individual fundraisers and stuff. I mean, there's guys bringing in 150K plus. Yeah. I mean, they hustle hard, so it's like, hey, I want to get to that point where we, as a charity are able to do that, so it's, slowly but surely, and with, support from the 1320 community, the Mopar community, guys like yourself who have taken an interest and seen the good in what we do. Slowly but surely it's growing, so.
Oh yeah, definitely. And getting to know you, it definitely helps my enthusiasm towards it, and seeing, just car guy to car guy, not knowing anything outside that. When I first met you, I'm online, through our Facebook groups, I knew right away that, you weren't the jerk walking around poking fingers. You're actually helping with really good advice and solid things,
I mean, don't get me wrong. Sometimes I'm that jerk walking around.
Well, we all are, I think, but
that's, it is. I give my fair share of trash talk and bench racing online and what I think should be done or how it should be done. But at the end of the day, it's a community, and whether we get along or see things the same way, we still get along.
exactly.
And at the end of the day, it's for the greater good, and something bigger than ourselves, I guess.
Way, way bigger. And that kind of brings me to a point. I truly want to take a second and it's almost hard to even say how much you guys have done this past month. Just, it's pretty incredible. And I'm going to pull up a slide here. Thank you, wife, for making this. I'm going to pull up a slide here of all the people who have been more than generous. And just let you guys take a look at this. And if you have not, please go over and subscribe to these guys, because what has happened this past month is awe-inspiring to me. So my hat is off. I got headphones where I'd pull it off to you guys. I so appreciate you. Please go support these guys. Stupid Fast Truck, Brailsford's Ride, Rev4, Narcoleptic, Car Mob, Sublime, Shopcat, Stuff with Cletus, Paul DeFox, my dad, Edge of Eternity, Mr. Mach 1. It's just unreal. Rich GT350R, Midnight Road, CP, Projet, Justin Smet, just his dude with wrenches, Wooden Metal, Den IT guy, 815 LSX swaps. Yeah. I promised I wouldn't cry, damn it. No, it really means the world to me, and I appreciate you guys coming in here to even watch this. And look at Mustang Mike comes in with $50 for Slicks of Hope. And I will add that to the total. I will add that to the total, man. Thank you, man. Appreciate that so much. And so I found, looking through setting this up, I actually found a quote that I wanted to share with everyone that kind of hits home for me when it comes to everything that has happened in the past month. It's a little slide-in video clip, so please read this quote real quick, and then we'll move into the presentation. Just a quote that hit me. I was looking through stuff, and you know, that's something that, yeah, life's way bigger than all this garbage that we're dealing with, is all I got to say.
For sure. That quote hit home, man.
Yeah, it's a big deal. So to stop myself from completely bawling like a little girl, I think I need a drum roll here. Anybody can help me out with that? This is for you, Tommy.
That's outstanding. That's that's really picking us up. Like I said, it was a slow year with COVID and everything, and that's amazing, Eric, and is huge thanks to everyone involved.
Yeah, just unreal. And now it's 4,050.
Yeah, because Mustang Mike, right?
Because of Mustang Mike, yep. And that is, just so everyone knows, that is a combination of direct donations from all of you, a combination of what my channel has been able to bring in through super chats, through everything, and then a donation from my wife and I that I don't feel it's fair that YouTube takes 30%. So the 30% from all the super chats we got is being added back in by us, plus our own hug for the cause. So it's man, I take a lot of pride in being able to be a platform that can help.
For sure. You know? I really appreciate it. And the winner too.
TK's Garage.
TK's, I need to get a address from you, because I get a little package of stuff from Slicks of Hope to send out.
Very nice. Yep. I will, once I get that from him, I'll definitely send that over to you. But it's, yeah, guys in the chat, a huge chat. I mean, if I can't clap loud enough for like 500 people, but I can do this. Hey, it's a bunch of, you know, everyone still enjoys a little bit of that once in a while. So right, here, right. I found some confetti. There it is. I'm late with it, but threw me off a little. There we go, guys.
I'll tell you what I tell everybody though. I get, you know, a lot of friends or even people that I don't know that'll, they'll hit me up afterwards and say, "Hey, man, I made a $5 donation. I wish I could do more." And it's for me, it's always been, it's not whether you donate $5 or $500. It's what you can do, and the fact that you're doing more than most of your peers. And every $1, $2, $5, that all adds up at some point, and it makes a difference. And the big thing with St. Baldrick's, that I'll kick in real quick as to why I like them a lot, is their books are open, they're upfront, and whereas a lot of your charities, when you look at what is donated or brought in versus what actually makes it to the end user, in this case, the doctors doing research, sometimes it's pretty low. St. Baldrick's, you're going to see 75 cents of every dollar or more making it to actual research every year. They're not paying, their CEO an unrealistic amount every year. Where I've seen some of these cancer charities for kids, even where what they overturn each year is almost everything they bring in goes to paying wages and company cars and whatnot. And at the end of the day, almost none of it makes it to their end user. Whereas, St. Baldrick's, Ronald McDonald Foundation is another great charity, and the Pediatric Brain Tumor Foundation also. So those are my three main, with, obviously St. Baldrick's being up top. But it's something you got to watch for, as somebody that, and it turns a lot of people off when they see things. I'm not going to drop names, but in the veteran community, you got to watch. There's a lot of these charities that squat makes it down to the end user, where, it should be the other way around.
Oh, 1,000%.
You know,
yeah, it's sad to see some of those things that are going on, but I'm glad that you did find, as I said, something that I personally feel definitely that it's one of the better ones, just doing, because I didn't just go, oh, well, Tommy likes it, I like it.
Right.
I looked into it as well.
For sure.
And you're right. They actually make things happen.
Well, they're the number one contributor for pediatric cancer research outside of the federal government. Of the federal budget set aside for cancer research as a whole, whether adult or child, pediatric cancer gets lumped together. So it doesn't matter if it's blood cancer, bone cancer, brain cancer, it's pediatric cancer. And then all adult cancers are separated, and everything's dealt out. So of the budget, pediatric cancer gets about just shy of 4%. So you see a lot of the groups say kids deserve more than 4. Right. So St. Baldrick's comes in, and they're the next largest contributor. The last trial that my daughter was on out of Houston was actually a St. Baldrick's funded trial treatment. They were funding that research. So they make a difference, and there's been so few breakthroughs, in pediatric cancer. They say about 15 years behind adult cancers on treatments. A lot of the drugs we can use as adults, they can't use for children. So right. It's still a lot more guessing than, on the adult front. So, and not just as a father, but just as just a regular guy, my thought process, even before having children, has always been that, children are our legacy. The next generation, whether they're your kids or not, that's our legacy. And to see so little funding from our own government to cure these diseases for kids is just kind of astonishing to me. And,
it's so disgusting.
I mean, we got to cure it across the board, even for adults. But, I mean, at some point in my life, like as an old man, I'd rather see a child treated than myself.
Oh yeah. Oh, for sure. So, yeah. If it's them or me, all day long. They
And
haven't
that's,
even
I
had a
mean,
chance to get going, you know?
I dealt as a fireman and EMT. I've in Iraq dealt with children that were hurt and whatnot way prior to even having my own kids. So it's the kids. I've always had a real soft spot. Like I said, that's our legacy. When you and I are gone, who's going to tell our story?
Right.
And it's the young ones coming up now that we know whether they're ours or not.
Yeah.
I mean, most people when I'm gone are going to think I was an ass, and my
Oh, I
daughter's
guarantee.
going to be over there going, my dad was cool, and so that's kind of even aside from my own direct involvement, having lost Peyton, um, that's what does it for me, is the fact that we gotta help these kids.
For sure. And Princess Jamie, thank you so much for the $10. I'll make sure that goes to St. Baldrick's as well. It just,
Thank you.
yeah, no, that up until December, when I started talking about this, I in my house do not say the word. I don't give it any power. I refuse to say that word.
I refuse to capitalize it when I type it. I guess it's just a weird thing, but
Yeah.
it's along the same lines. It's just, it's and I think of things, I've had people, and I don't think people say things. They don't mean to be, negative or mean about it, but I've had a couple people say, "Oh, well, I'm sorry your daughter lost that battle." And they don't mean it in a negative way, but I never can think of it that way. Like,
No.
I look at, what she accomplished in 5 years of life. I mean, what I've done in 40 years pales in comparison.
Yeah.
And, that last trial that she was on alone gathered so much data, towards figuring out how this disease works.
Well,
It
yeah,
was,
and if it helps even just a little bit with the next person.
well, and that's my, that's how I look at it. Like, her life wasn't in vain. She contributed even as a child greatly.
Yeah.
The last trial she was on, they actually put a port back here in her head, and it ran into the brain, and then it was sealed off, and it would run chemotherapy directly into the fourth ventricle of the brain, which is where her cancer originated. Because
Wow.
it's a mutation of the cerebral spinal fluid, that's where that is made. So, unlike traditional chemo where it's in the blood, she didn't get sick. She'd get a little headache from fluid pressure changes that first day, and it was once a week. And they'd poke her there, they'd inject it. Well, they saw stabilization and shrinkage in the tumors up top, but she had tumors in the cerebral spinal fluid along the spine.
Ooh.
And that's where they didn't see them, it getting to them. So then it came down to, is the medicine not circulating with the cerebral spinal fluid? So it started answering questions. She was the first human, or I should say the first child, to receive that treatment ever. They had never
Wow.
done that before. The other two young ladies that were in it, sadly, one passed early on. And then the second one had issues through surgery where they weren't able to complete, because they did have to go in and do like a resection and remove tumor when they implanted that. And she was not viable enough to take the treatment after surgery. So my daughter was the only one that was in that trial that completed I think it was like 12 or 16 week treatment. And then they reassess, and these things are written very tightly. So at the end of that trial, if there was no growth, if they saw stabilization and or shrinkage, they could have continued. But because we saw growth in one of the spinal tumors, then it stopped. But they gained a ton of knowledge from it.
Well, still, and just lightly knowing who you are as a person, she's definitely a fighter.
Oh yeah, I mean, the kid was hard as nails. I'll tell you that much. Like, the things I saw her endure through brain surgeries and spine surgery. She had spinal surgery to remove a tumor a little over a year after the initial brain surgery. So this would have been Christmas of 2015. She went into the hospital I think the day before Christmas Eve, spent Christmas in the hospital. Day after Christmas, they did surgery, and she had a scar that covered more than 3/4 of her back. They had to go in and remove a couple of tumors off the spine. And then 2 days after surgery, she said, "Dad, I want to get out of bed. I want to walk." And I pulled the doctor aside. I said, "Hey, she wants to get up and walk." He said, "Hey, let her get up and walk. If the kid wants to walk, let her walk." So we put the little belt on her so I could hold her in case she fell, and she got right to running around and doing everything she could do. And I mean, I've seen grown men
Wow.
with nowhere near that kind of surgery or issues that are in tears.
Oh, I get
Never
a scrape on my hand. I got to take my time here.
Yeah, yeah,
So
exactly. And I
that's
mean,
incredible.
she never complained. She just rolled with the punches and made the best out of everything. And I think that up until that point in my life, that really changed how I looked at things.
Oh,
And
it
and
has to.
and even things like I had this mentor when I was younger. He was an old 82nd Airborne veteran. And when I was like 20 years old, getting ready to leave for the Army, he told me, you know, don't, whenever you're stressed out, you're having a bad day, don't worry about nothing because nothing will be all right. And I always thought like Bill was just this crazy old dude. And I'm like, didn't even know what he was talking about. And then years later, it's that whole glass half full, glass half empty thing. And, you know, well, my daughter was going through treatment. He passed also from cancer. Um, and it was about that time, about, I don't know, 6 months after he passed, where I got to thinking about him telling me that years, it just popped in my head. And I'm like, I know what he meant now, you know, you can't change things. So you got to roll with it and then make the best of it.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's an interesting saying, but if you stop for a second and really think about it, it's true.
Yeah, for sure. So I just, try to make the best of it. I made a promise to my daughter that regardless, that I would continue the mission we started, and I will until there's either a cure or I'm dead, man. And I'm thankful to have, first of all, I mean, Carly, she came into this. I met her when Peyton was sick, just shortly before she passed.
Mm.
And she took me and my whole suitcase of, she's not feeling real well
Smiling
lately,
at you. Yeah.
but she's back there laying down, and she just giggled back there, because I mean, I brought a suitcase and a 55-gallon drum,
Yeah.
full
Full
of
of mess.
mental distress and baggage, um, and she puts up with my bullshit and does this thing with me and learned the car. I mean, I bought that car, and right away she's like, I want to
Oh,
learn it. And
she rips off the light, brother. She rips.
yeah, I mean, I don't know where she learned that from because I ain't that quick, but she's taken to it. Like, we set the records up there in Atco, excuse me. And we had done some side-by-side passes at Test and Tune here.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe like, I think 6 or so, with like 3 with her as the passenger, just watching how I did it, and then me walking her through 3 passes. We got to Atco, and they're like, no side-by-sides, even on the testing before the event. And she was, from there on out, she was on her own. And I mean, I ran 11.30. She ran an 11.35. That's correct, Rich. Atco, New Jersey. That was November 2019. So
yeah, that's where ProJet's from, as well as New Jersey.
Did you hear that they're keeping that track around for now, right? Too.
No, huh?
I guess the city council or the county commission or whatever voted not to rezone it, so it'll be staying a drag strip for the foreseeable future. They were supposed to sell it out to be like a Walmart complex or some garbage.
Oh, that's good to hear, because there's too many tracks closing.
That's one of the baddest tracks on the East Coast.
Oh yeah,
we drove 2 days. That was our first modern street Hemi shootout event, and I'd been watching what they did for a little while and wanted to get in on it. And kind of last minute, we saw that, season closer, Atco, New Jersey. And, I'd never been to Atco, but I knew of it. And I knew if we were going to do anything, with the 1320 in hitting that number that Dodge said it could do or faster.
Yeah.
Atco or one of those tracks in that vicinity was going to be the ticket. And I mean, we've never run that fast down here. We've come close. We ran 11.4 in Florida on a good cold front, But,
I wouldn't be able to touch that in Arizona.
Now, what's your DA usually down there?
Ridiculous. The lowest I think we've gotten to is like 1,800. Wow. The lowest. The average is closer to 4.
Wow. What's your elevation?
I'd have to look it up.
I'll have to check and see, because I know we're pretty close to sea level here.
Mm-hmm.
And then this time of year through next month, we'll have some cold fronts here and there where we'll get, 0 or slightly negative, but it's few and far between. And when those days happen, if it's a test and tune, the place is packed.
Oh, yeah. Well, speaking of test and tune and that type of thing, give us a rundown of where you're at with your car from stock and where you guys are heading with it. What's your goal with the car to bring more attention?
Just to get it running right. So right now, we're testing and working on the nitrous tune, just to get it ironed out. We had some issues and things going funky. Ended up having up at Mo Party, we weren't able to make any passes clean. It wasn't shifting, and it turned out it just had a clogged trans filter. So now that's all ironed out.
So what is it? What is it from stock? Take us from the first video that they saw in the intro where it was launching with the stock tires on it to where it sits today. What all has been done to the car, and have you had some help or anything along the way?
Yeah. So we are shop sponsored out of Hades Performance out of Port St. Lucie, Florida. We are, let's see, who else is on board here? Sponsored by Holly Performance, which brings in nitrous oxide systems, MSD, Holly EFI. Currently, the car is running Rippa-tuned cam and stock ported heads, stainless works headers. Let's see what else. Tuned on HP tuners by DSM Lights out of South Florida here. I'm trying to think what else. 15-inch conversion front and rear, and now a Pro Torque 3000 torque converter. And I think that's it. With the 15-inch conversion, I'm running the RC Comps front and rear, single beadlocks in the rear on MT ET Street Pros 275s. So it's I don't want to say basic modifications, but it's not. My cam's super mild. It's got a really tight overlap for nitrous. We have a 100 shot on it right now. Let's see. Dan, the IT guy's wife, said that you guys are 1145 feet. So that makes sense. You guys have got a little elevation. But the 15.
I want to see your response to this.
No, never. No. So the rear section in the car is all stock axle, stock center section, stock 309 gear. The trans has been tuned, engine's been tuned. Like I said, the cam's pretty mild. I don't have a ton of, a lot of guys are going for the super choppy sound. That's the other thing. I have exhaust. Flowmaster, part of the Holly family, put us in a Flowmaster Outlaw. So it's like a straight through design with some.
Oof, that's got to be loud.
Excuse me, it's nuts. No, it sounds It's loud. We got a couple across the street and a couple of doors down here who's into cars, and he's like, man, he's like, his room is then on the opposite side of the house, and he's like, man, I don't just hear you start it up, I can feel it.
Oh, damn.
It's loud, man. It's I mean, for some people it might be obnoxiously loud, but I mean,
That's
I've run things with like headers and dumps on the street before. So
tell us the story about your run-in with the guy from Drag Times.
okay, so Brooks, he's local here, cool dude.
Great guy.
Yeah, does a ton of cool stuff. And he had, so my cousin and I had both gotten the 1320s.
Yep.
Nick. Yeah, Nick also has the Demon, and I want to say he ran Brooks with his Demon, maybe, I don't remember, but it came up that he wanted to run the Model 3 Tesla against a 1320, and Nick's wasn't stock at the time. Mine, the only deviation from showroom was wheels and tires, and I still had all the stock wheels and tires too. So we just swapped those on and ran it in full stock trim. His Model 3 at the time, and that was last year. It was on like the most recent performance update. All the numbers.
It was a Model 3 Performance Edition or something?
Yeah, Model 3 Performance. So it's the fastest version of the Model 3. On paper, they're super close. Power to weight ratio, the Tesla had me a little bit, and it's all-wheel drive. And Brooks is a hell of a driver too.
Oh yeah, he can drive.
I mean, guy don't screw around on the tree. And remember, I was driving, not my wife, so we had things to worry about. But I was running like damn near dead Nexans on the back end. On that third pass, that was actually the one pass was our fastest pass ever in Florida stock, was an 11.48.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think I ran an 11.51 and maybe an 11.53, I think. The third pass launched hard, and I got a little bit of slip. And he red lighted me, so I mean he lost anyways. But he ran, I think, just a tad faster. 3-run average, I was still out ahead.
And that's crazy, because the hype of that race before it happened,
oh yeah,
from what I was seeing, was like, oh, I can't wait to see what happens on this, because he's a big fan of Tesla and a big fan of, sorry, but there's a lot of his content is bashing Dodge.
Oh
like
yeah,
outrunning demons and outrunning this and outrunning that. So it was funny to see him go, well, that didn't work.
Yeah, no, it was good. And Brooks is a cool dude. Trash talk back and forth, but at the end of the day, he's got his favorites.
Yeah, we all do.
He runs some rad cars. He's got the Ford GT.
Oh yeah.
As far as like what I would consider a domestic exotic, I mean, that would be at the top of my list.
Oh, by far.
I don't get the Tesla thing, but
yeah,
it's
at least one other car is heavier than ours.
Yeah. I mean, they do, but it just, it's still, I'm sure at some point in time, the whole electric thing may grow on me, but it's still, it took me until 2017 to get into a fuel injected Harley Davidson.
Yeah.
So,
hard to change.
Yeah. No, I mean, for years I drove things that still had carburetors car-wise.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Then in 03, I bought an 02 GMC, and that was the first, the first modern engine. And it's a, baby LS, a 4.8 liter. It's the first thing I started messing with. And up until that, man, that stuff was so foreign to me. And I ran carbureted bikes until 2017. And now it's like, I wouldn't go back.
Yeah. Oh, no. They make it almost too easy nowadays.
I mean,
do you have any other cars in your fleet?
Well, I still have the 02 GMC.
Okay.
So that is getting, it needs a little bit of body work, because that was my daily driver from then until 2017. Mm-hmm. It's got like 380,000 miles on the original 4.8 in trans.
Can't beat it.
No, it's had nothing but brake jobs, a fuel pump, and a wheel bearing. That's it. I'm still running a factory serpentine belt at 380-something thousand miles.
Dude, no way.
Yeah. So it doesn't get, I mean, it hasn't been regularly driven since 2017. Yeah. It's sitting right now. I have a Hellcat long block that's going to get a probably a high ram, and then a turbo with a turbo 400 behind it.
Oh yeah.
And I mean, it's going to be a full cage truck, like 9/10 race, 1/10 street. And leave some lights and stuff like that to keep it street legal.
Oh, that'd be so cool.
But yeah, the plan is to run like a big farm truck, fuel tank, big clear plastic or big white plastic farm tank in the back, so I can load it with the 85 and drive it all the way up to like Kentucky for Mo Party. Pop the accessory tank out, fill the fuel cell, and run it. I'd like to set it up to where I could tow. If I could tow the Challenger with that thing.
Oh, dude, that would be so cool.
Unhook and race it. I mean, that'd be cool. But, because like right now, I mean, I run a budget, man. We use the wife's daily driver is a Ram Eco Diesel. And then we use that for our long hauls to tow wherever. I'm pulling a single car open trailer that I borrow,
Yeah, it's that gets really expensive when you start playing around.
It is, So like next thing on my list is getting our own trailer, and then when the truck's done, then it comes down to how do we take both?
Yep.
So that was something that I had talked with our mechanic about through the shop is like, can we do this? So the idea I think we're going to end up doing is the Turbo 400 or a 4L80E. And then if not the 80E, then the 400 with like a gear vendor's overdrive. And then I'm going to run a 9-inch on some split monoleaf springs from Calvert Racing. And then they're the Caltrax bars and everything. Guys running the, this type of Chevy pickup have a lot of good luck with that rear suspension setup running, really fast.
Well, that's the cool thing about nowadays is you don't have to really buy parts and guess. You can talk to people and they've run every type of setup there is on the planet.
The formulas are there, in those trucks. It's a 2002 GMC, single cab step side, and they're super popular as drag trucks.
Yep.
So all the hard work's been done. The Hellcat, it drops right in. You slot the stock motor mounts and it bolts up to them. So we got a few measurements to do with exhaust. I'm going to do a slide on fiberglass front clip just to lighten it up a little bit. Inside's going to be gutted. Holley EFI, the big 12-inch.
What's this picture?
That's
explain that a little bit.
It's a fire breathing blue meanie. That's just,
awesome.
Just a little nitrous purge. We're running the nitrous purge out the front air catcher headlight right now.
I had to share that too cool a picture. Sorry.
It came out pretty cool. So yeah, we're gonna do the truck, and then once the truck's done, that'll be my vehicle for racing, and Carly will take over the other 10% of the 1320 that she leaves me right now.
Very nice.
So yeah, we'll be able to do. And the big thing is we love the Modern Street Hemi Shootout series. Dan Van Horn and crew. I mean, they just put on a great series. Our first event, we felt welcomed, and everybody's just been super cool. So swapping the Hemi and the GMC has a backstory with my daughter. Obviously, it was my daily driver, but she adored the truck. And she'd be like, "Dad, do burnouts, go fast." We'd spin donuts in it and stuff. And it was just a, lightly warmed up 4.8 liter.
Yeah.
So, and then she'd always told me she wanted the truck when she was big enough. And it came to the point where it was like, it's not viable as a daily anymore. And the condition that it was in, it's just getting too high in miles without some redoing and some severe maintenance.
Yeah.
And, and it's like, I could sell it and get a couple grand out of it, but it's beyond that point. I mean, just for me, even, how it gets when you've had a vehicle that long. I mean, that truck took me all through my active duty Army years, and everything, so it was kind of that one constant in my life that really never screwed me over either,
Well, and that's something that the car community and the chat and everywhere can understand, is because
Right.
they're not
Yeah.
just cars to us. And
No, you get
it's
attached to it, and
yeah,
it's
it's
like
been with you.
that was the first thing, like, that was my first big purchase after I joined the Army in my early 20s. My first big boy purchase,
Yeah.
that wasn't, it wasn't some clapped out, crap daily driver that I was getting so that I could, because I had a 68 GMC step side pickup prior to joining the Army. So, like, I had a garbage daily driver and all my money went into that. And then I sold that shortly before I joined the Army. And
Thank you, Cement Surfer. Yeah, 50 more
awesome.
bucks,
Thank
just
you.
Slicks of Hope. Heck yes, man.
Outstanding.
Great.
So, picking that truck up, that was a big thing for me.
Yeah.
And then, it was something that since I had gotten rid of the 68 GMC step side, this was like the modern rendition.
Yeah.
And like I always kicked myself in the ass for selling that 68. So,
Yeah.
they grow with you.
They do.
And then, with the sentimental value with my daughter, I had to find something to do with it. And this Hellcat motor came up, and why not, man? That's what hot rodding is all about, is working with what you got.
Well, yeah, just do stuff different, make people question.
Everybody else is building the LSs for them or putting a Chinese turbo on the 4.8.
Yep.
So I was like, heck, let's I'm gonna throw a $600 Summit turbo on it, and
go for it. Let her
we'll grow with it, man. I'm gonna do rods and pistons in the billet main caps on the block and everything, and make sure it'll live for a while. And then we'll do the turbo and some E85 and crank it up, make it do wheelies.
Oh, dude.
I mean,
that'd be so cool, especially Slicks of Hope on the side of the door and it's pulling wheelies. Come on, man.
Yeah,
that's a dream photo right there.
I'm still trying to figure out paint. I think we're gonna do my daughter likes sparkly stuff, and like going back to my years having like custom cars. I got a 54 Chevy Bel Air. I've always been big on the metal flake paint jobs. I've had a few Harley choppers over the years with metal flake. I love it. So I think we're going to do like Peyton's favorite color was blue. Hence, I ended up with a blue car here. Which wasn't our original. I was originally trying to find purple. I've always wanted plum crazy.
Love plum crazy.
We found one. And then the guy that had actually ordered this car, which they were identically optioned, decided he wanted the purple one. And this was coming in from another dealership. And they said, well, hey, we got indigo blue. We can get you that one. And I was like, well, that's my second choice. I'll take it. It's kind of like a sign. It happened. So I'll take it. And I love the color. But I think the truck is going to end up being blue.
Nice.
Blue, like just in your face, blue metal flake. Just sparkles for days. So
yeah, he's saying
so that's funny Lefty says that, because that was the other color I was actually looking at, was gold flake. I got buckets of flakes sitting over here in the garage. So it's either that, or we were thinking maybe blue with like old school hot rod scallops up the front and gold flakes. I just want it to be wild, but
catch people's attention.
Yeah.
Heck yeah, man.
The next dream in line after that is, it's funny because I told Carly a few weeks ago, I said, man, I had this weird dream that like I woke up and my daughter Brooklyn, I said, you and Brooklyn like woke me up early and dragged me outside, and there's this car sitting in the front drive, and it's like this just ridiculously metal flaked 67 Belvedere, and it says T-Bone Hooker's Gold Digger.
Oh, that's why you have that alter ego.
So that's just, from getting banned on Facebook here and there. But my granddad always called me T-Bone. That was like his nickname for me.
Nice.
And then I'm a huge John Lee Hooker fan.
Yeah.
If I had like a surrogate father, it would probably be John Lee Hooker. So screwing around one day, I made that profile. And I always tease Carly. I'm like, that's my alter race ego, and that's what's going to go on my race car. And so I had this weird dream. I think it was some of that lucidness from the COVID when I was sick. and And I was like, so whenever I get a 67, it's going to be called the Gold Digger and be in just ridiculous
Just
amounts of,
crazy.
yeah, just different shades of gold metal flake and, in your face and wild. 'Cause that's the stuff I grew up with was,
Oh,
you know, is
yeah.
all the crazy, the 70s, seeing the stuff from the 70s and, like my introduction to hot rods and muscle cars was a old cat named Earl when we lived on the east side of Detroit as a kid. He lived across the street, and it's about like my neighbor kid here who said he could feels me start the car.
Yeah, yeah.
So Earl drove. He was like 3 doors down and across the street. His daily driver was an Omni GLHS. So right off the rip, this guy knows something, right? Back then, I didn't know what the hell that car was. It was just this ugly little hatchback.
Oh, I had a GLH. I'm very well versed in that.
Well, I had a Spirit RT in the early 90s, I wish I could find another one because those were rad. Had no idea what it was at the time. But on Sundays, Earl got out his Sunday car and he would take it to church and he would take it to the grocery store and the meat market. And he would start that thing up. And I was like, as far back as I remember, probably like 6 years old. And when he would start this thing, it terrified me. Absolutely. It was so loud. He was running, it was a 66 Belvedere with a Hemi and like open dumps off the headers.
Oh, that'll.
So he was like old school Detroit street racer. In fact, have you ever heard? So this story gets wild. Have you ever heard of the Black Ghost?
I have. There's a Challenger, right? That was
yes,
the Black
Ghost Challenger.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So Mr. Qualls, Gregory, owns the car. It was his dad's car, who was, not just a Detroit cop, but also like a Vietnam vet, a Green Beret. Just super cool cat, right?
Yeah.
Super big into like motorcycles, and he bought that, and it's like a one of one Hemi Challenger. It's a RTSE, was like the triple black and the gator skin top. The car's wild.
Yeah.
So old hot rodders BSing. When I started, I took interest in Earl's car, and he told me, I've had this car since it was new. I raced it in the 70s, yada, yada. I only ever lost one race to this cat they called the Black Ghost, you know what I mean? I'm thinking, whatever, old guy bullshit. And then, just last year, that car comes out of storage after Greg lost his dad. And, they got it on like the historical registry and all that. And the Black Ghost, and I watched the video about the story, and I'm going,
I did too. That's why I was like, no way.
Old Earl wasn't bullshitting me, and he said the only race I ever lost was this cat banging gears in this car they called the Black Ghost, because he'd take it out and he'd race and he'd just slay everybody. And because he was a Detroit cop, then he'd hide it. He'd go put it in the garage and hide it for like a month and not go out, supposedly, so they're like, he'd come out and slay everybody and then disappear like a ghost.
Wow.
So they called it the Black Ghost. So, thinking back, I was like, old dude was telling me the truth. And that's what got me hooked on those big Mopars. Ever since then, man, really 64, 65s, but the 66, 67 body style.
Oh, yeah.
The old dude took me for a ride with my dad one day, and you get down towards the highway off the service drive. And as soon as he turns the corner, he just starts banging gears. And I remember it had a bench seat. So I'm sitting between him and my dad. And I'm like, can't breathe, I'm 8 years old. When
you feel it pull back hard enough where it affects you, know you're in something special.
I think in that moment, shaped me, as much as
Gets in your veins.
Anything has. Yeah. And then it was just I wanted my own car, from then on out, everybody else was doing their thing. And I was nerding out to Hot Rod Magazine, in the back of class, keeping it open in my math book, and
oh yeah.
So, and I haven't had a ton of cars over the years, but I've had a few here and there, and, got into the custom car thing. I'll send you a picture later. I had a chopped and slammed 54 Chevy Bel Air for a bit.
Ooh, yeah.
It's just a blue flame 6-cylinder running a split header that shot flames out the back, and
nice
gangster whites. Yeah, it was just a super cool cruiser. And I sold that and was just into nothing but bikes for a while. just Harley choppers and stuff. And this Challenger's I mean, other than the truck, I had a little bit of stuff done to the truck, but this is the first all out, fast car that I've had in many years.
Yeah.
So, and it's been a blast, man. I don't,
They're
we
not
were
to be biased, but they're pretty damn fun.
I was looking originally, I wanted to get a Hellcat. And then when
Yep.
when they released this package, it's like, man, bang for the buck. I was out the door
That's
like
what I said.
$39K on that car. And it's been a blast.
Oh yeah,
You
and
know?
just a little bit of, and you're beating Hellcats.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like even when we're at the strip and at events, there's tons of Hellcats. And then people see that 1320 badge and they're like, "Oh, I've heard about those."
Oh yeah,
But I've never seen one. Because you don't.
that's
Here and there, I see a few. We get a couple. We had a kid come in from the west coast of Florida a couple weeks ago. Came out to our track and was running his, but that was the first one other than the one my cousin had that I'd seen. So yeah,
yeah. I met a guy with a black one a couple weeks ago. I was at the grocery store, and I walk out there and I'm like, "What? Is that a 1320?" So I pulled my car up next to his and just waited for him to come out. I'm like,
I saw a kid in a
"What's
black
up,
one here
man?"
last year, and I was going one way and he was coming the other, and I saw that badge and I'm like, shit, I'm gonna race this dude. So I flipped around and I couldn't even find him. And I've never seen him at the track or anything. I've asked around some of the car guys around and nobody knows. Maybe it was a rental or something, or he was, in town visiting, but never seen it again.
Yeah, they're a needle in a haystack. I think in the future they'll be needles in the haystack. There wasn't that many made this last year. There's not many planned to be made in the future.
No. So we'll see.
So-
I'll be interested to see how much the LX platform changes and if it's still a package, because I'm pretty sure they're going to carry on the Challenger.
Yeah,
They're just going to redesign. So I'll be interested to see if there's a next gen with the 1320. With the whole direct connection thing dropping, we see a lot of these guys going around going, "Oh, they're canceling all the V8s." They said for sure they're dropping the 6.2.
Yeah.
I don't see them dropping everything, especially with the whole direct connection thing out.
Well, the only problem is, did you look into direct connection? I actually did a little report for somebody on this today. Did you look into it to see what it caters to?
So far?
Yeah.
As in like a lot of the red eye stuff and
yeah, it's pretty much, if you have a boosted Mopar, come to direct connection.
Yeah, no,
But everything else, like our 6.4s, anything, they just nah.
Now, the thing that I read said that there was going to be phases. So I would imagine maybe, next up is going to be the 6.4 and the 5.7 stuff. I mean, hell, you can go buy they got a caged body and white drag pack you can pick up.
Oh, I looked at that. That was, I was looking at the price going, I don't know if I want to spend $30,000 on something that doesn't even have wiring.
Yeah. I mean, you can look around for one of the older drag pack bodies in white without the cages in them.
Yeah.
You can get those pretty cheap. But yeah, I think there's interesting things. Everybody's harping there's going to be this turbo straight 6, and
yeah, the Tornado.
If it makes power, back in the day they used to race the 225 slant 6s.
Oh, they were no joke. If somebody knew how to set them up right, they were no joke. And they still, to this day, I watch videos all the time of people getting pissed off because the car didn't die.
Yeah, the buzzing half
thing
dozen.
will sit for 50 years with no plugs in it, and they put gas and plugs, and the damn thing will start. Like, what the hell?
Yeah, so I'm interested to see how the redesign comes out, and if there's no 6.2, is there not going to be a Hellcat? Or is the 6.2 getting dropped because they have something else in the works? That's what they didn't say how they're replacing it. So it leaves a lot to speculation, but I really think even with like the EV stuff coming in, that there's still a lot to be had.
Yeah, there's a couple of years left of good stuff, I think. So
the second coming of the muscle car, So
I just don't want to drive a go-kart or like a golf cart. You know what I mean?
Go-karts, man.
I love go-karts, not golf carts.
Yeah, for sure. It's I mean, it's a different time, but We'll
Yeah.
see, man. As long as it's on gas, I'm down with it.
That's
Or
where I'm
diesel.
at. That's exactly where I'm at. Well, hey man, we just passed up the hour mark here. I'm going to go ahead and let you rock and roll if you'd like, and
Okay.
close
Yeah.
this thing down. I wanted to give you a chance to address everybody in here. Like I said, I am just the platform. Everybody you see in the comments are the true heroes of the day,
They're the real MVPs, man. And like,
for sure,
you know,
man.
I can't say it enough how much I appreciate, you know, everybody backing us on this. And you know, like you said, you're just the platform, but so am I, man. I'm just the guy, you know, putting it out there and relying on other people to be charitable and you know, see a need in my cause and be willing to donate, because without every $1, $10, $200 donation, you know, I couldn't do what I'm doing. You know, we couldn't make that difference. And it's, you know, without a doubt, it's making a difference. So keep an eye out. I do have t-shirts for Slicks of Hope. They were kind of like a Mo Party exclusive at first.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, like I said, with Holly sponsoring us and whatnot, I do have some other non-automotive part sponsors, one being Cheater Slick Culture.
Oh wow.
And so Army buddy of mine, Chuck, he's a retired captain, and he runs Cheater Slick Culture. Rod and Culture, Hussy Magazine. So he runs ads for us in the magazines. He's going to be doing a portion of his website. So our initial run of t-shirts was all donated by him and his printer at no cost to us. So everything as far as proceeds that, you know, all went right into Baldrick's. From here on out, we'll do orders directly from his website. And as soon as that's up, I'll be able to post that.
Yeah, let me know, because I'd like to, you know, put it on here and promote that as well. Dude,
Absolutely.
Midnight Road Garage, another $50. Thank you, man.
Awesome. Thank you. Yeah.
Wow.
So people will be able to go right there. And the only thing that, you know, won't go to Baldrick's is the cost of the shirt and shipping. You know, he'll break even and that's it. So Chuck's a great dude. You know, if you've not checked Cheater Slick Culture and stuff out, do so. It's older school hot rod stuff, but it's, you know, it's a really, really cool operation that he's got going on there, and keeping that traditional hot rod stuff alive too.
Oh yeah, because we can't let that go away.
Yeah, no, I mean that's the history of everything we do. So
Yeah.
super cool dude, and he's been a huge help. And then Raid Skateboards, again, it's not automotive based, but and then their sister company, All Skill No Luck, they make tactical gear and clothing. They donate stuff for me to raffle all the time, and you know, just another group of vet guys that are just super cool and in on the stuff. So if you need a cool flannel, you need flannel jackets. If it gets cool out there, All Skill No Luck's the place to go.
Nice.
If you need a skateboard, man, Raid Skateboards. So I use them as hood props.
That's a good idea.
I'm getting too old to skateboard anymore, but they work great as hood props.
Yeah, I've passed up, I think, the skateboard portion of my life. But Princess Jamie, thanks for that $10. Appreciate that.
Thank you.
All going to St. Baldrick's. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. That's huge.
I can't afford to fall on a skateboard at this age, man.
No. I don't want to be the guy broken hip. What?
Yep.
You broke your hip? Yeah.
Exactly. So I appreciate everything you've done, and you know, and everybody behind you, and you know, look forward to doing it again.
Oh yeah. And
start working on your ticket for Mo Party, man. You can't miss it.
I have to. I
mean, hands down, best. I can't let it overshadow Modern Street Hemi Shootout events, but as far as an all-out Mopar event, it's easily hands down the best event. I mean, because you see everything from, you know, Mopar hot rods from back in the day, show cars, super stock, pro stock cars from the golden era, all the new stuff. You know, and Modern Street Hemi Shootout actually runs a class in there too, because they're, you know, kind of tied in. But
yeah,
if you own a modern Mopar and you haven't hit a a modern street Hemi shootout event yet, you need to get over here this side of the Mississippi. Actually, I think they're hitting Kansas this year.
That's not too bad then. I've raced up there.
It's worth the haul, man. It's hands down some of the best modern Hemi racing you're going to find. Easy. And like I said, Dan Van Horn and his crew just put down it's a great time. It's well run. There's none of this, like we try to do local events, and a lot of the time there's just too much crap, man. And it's run like garbage. And I mean, Dan, this dude moves for 2-day events. Like, I don't think he sleeps.
Oh, no kidding.
Just nonstop, making sure everything runs smooth. And it shows, because we have a great time every time we go. We took the award last year because we hauled all the way to Michigan from South Florida, which is my home state. Carly and I hauled all the way up and ran, and then hauled all the way back. It's a 2-day pull.
Oh yeah.
So
man, yeah, that sounds like an absolute blast. I gotta try and make it out.
If you dig Mopar's Holly Mo Party, hands down, man, you can't miss it. I go there before I go to the Chrysler Nats.
Oh yeah, I haven't been to the Nats in years. I used to go to the Nats religiously, and it's been forever.
I don't know. I might get chastised for that, but I think that's where Holly Mo Party's going. It's like above that level.
Oh wow,
it's a great event, man. It's their first year. I mean, we walked away, both of us, Carly and I, saying this is the best event we've been to, and that was their. I mean, granted, they do LS Fest and Ford Fest too, at the same venue, so they know what they're doing. But I mean, they pulled out all the stops, and then last year, even with like some of the rain we got and stuff, it was an amazing event. Just very well run. Everything's there. Beach Bend Raceway is probably one of the better tracks in the country. From covered viewer seating, to having a amusement park and water park right on the grounds. And a campground. Rent a trailer and stay for the weekend, man. It's amazing.
That sounds like a whole ball of fun, man.
It's a blast. So I'll let you get back to doing everything here, and just again, thanks, and thank you to everybody who donated, and keep an eye out, and we'll always looking forward to doing it again.
Oh yeah, we'll do it again. We'll do it bigger, better next time. We can't.
TK's Garage. I need address and T-shirt size, and then like I said, as soon as I got the T-shirts up, we'll shoot you a link.
Awesome, man. I appreciate that, dude. Right. That sounds good. Hey, have yourself a great night. We will bring you back on sooner than later. If anything, we'll have you on, and we'll just talk drag racing. So
yeah, we'll get a live stream on a Friday night maybe, and take it out to the track.
Ooh, that sounds good.
We get a lot of cool cars down here too. So yeah, just holler at me. And again, thanks a lot for everything. And
it's our pleasure.
You guys really turned this year around as far as our numbers. It's making a huge difference. So I left after doing the event with Mo Party. We didn't bring in much, and it was really all based on the T-shirts from Cheaters of Culture. And I try not to get, like I set those goals, and I try not to get down. But nice to meet you too, Shopcat. When you don't hit your goals, man, it brings you down a little bit. And this is putting us where we need to be. So, everybody can know that they've made a huge difference.
That's, it's all we set out to do. It started out small, and it snowballed into what it's, where we're at right now. And it just keeps growing, and I'm honored to be a part of it. I'll just tell you that.
Well, I'm glad to have you along for the fight, man.
Oh yeah. I'm here, man. Well, we'll let you get back to what you're doing. I know your lady's sick, so make sure you get her taken care of.
Oh yeah, I'm going to bed, man.
well wishes for her. So, all right, man. Until next time, we'll talk to you soon. Thanks, buddy. We'll see you. Such an awesome guy, man. Oh goodness. I don't hardly have words. I don't. Thank you. That's all I have to say. Thank you for what we've been able to accomplish for Slicks of Hope is unreal. I know I sound like a broken record, and that's fine. but I'm truly blessed to have you guys as acquaintances, some friends, but to join us on this journey. And I do have some other news. This is my last live show until February. I'm taking some time off to, yeah, no kidding. Eric, speechless? What? Yeah. Humbled and speechless, man. But I'm going to take the next couple of weeks off and try to revamp this thing, figure out what I want to do, what direction I want to take this thing. But I want to make it more entertaining, more fun. And oh, look at this. Wow. Rich, you're truly, truly incredible, man. Wow. Well, since we're wrapping this thing down, and I'm sorry, I just was in absolutely no mood to do this during the cast, but we're gonna wrap it up here. I'm gonna give you this one, and I have to sign out. You guys are so freaking unbelievable. I'm absolutely blessed, and I think this will be the one for that. Thank you to each and every one. Just like I said, I'm out of words. I'm blown away. We're going to fire everything up in a whole new way, in a whole different everything coming here in February. Until then, stay blessed. I appreciate every one of you. Have yourselves a safe night. Can't thank you enough.
Good night and party on! Party on! Party on! Party on! Party on!